Hey, it's Dr. Sheri. I'm a certified high performance coach and a psychologist. One of the most common topics that I end up talking with clients about is confidence. And so I want to unpack for you 3 things that you can think about and focus on if you're in the position where you lack confidence. Now, specifically, what I see happen is as humans, we try things. We make, and let me specify as adults, because as younger kids, this actually doesn't seem to play out as often. But as adults, we try something and it doesn't work the way we expected. And we might try again and it doesn't work the way we expected. And then maybe down the road, we try something else and it doesn't work the way we expected. And through these repeated efforts and these repeated results that are not as we expected, we start to lose confidence in ourselves. I have absolutely experienced this in my own life in multiple ways. One of the most common areas that I see this is in our health and weight loss. Yesterday, I had a conversation actually with another coach, and she has been a coach for a while and has made some efforts to build her coaching practice, and it hasn't resulted in what she had hoped. And so she was in a point of feeling hopeless and lost confidence in herself. And so if you have found yourself in a position where you're like, I don't trust myself. I don't trust that I can actually do this. And if I can't trust that I can do it, why am I going to exert energy and effort and maybe money and time into this? So here's the 3 things that are easy to say, but that take a lot of thought and a lot of intentionality to implementing. One is realizing that confidence comes through action. The reason this is so critically important is sometimes I hear people talk about, I just don't have confidence that I can do this thing. And then when I dig into it, they've never actually really done it or really tried to do it. And honestly, I think the world has enough delusional people that believe things that are without basis. I am not here as a coach, as a psychologist, to encourage any more delusional people in the world. And so if you have never tried something, if you have no evidence that you are good at something, I don't want you to have confidence that you can do it or that you are absolutely going to do it, because that's delusional. So you might be thinking, well, Dr. Sheri, then how am I going to do something if I don't have confidence? You do it anyway. There are lots of things that I have started to do that I didn't have any confidence in my ability to actually do it. But let me give you an alternative perspective around confidence. Confidence comes through action, because as you do it and as you get better, that's the feedback loop that helps you give evidence that you actually can do it. But you can have a different kind of confidence. And most of the time, and I ask this question a lot. In fact, last week I did 2 group sessions to different organizations around confidence and around this exact thing. And when I ask people what their definition of confidence was, it typically is knowing that I can do something, knowing that I can, accomplish something. And that's where I think we get challenged, is because if you haven't had success in doing something, how can you have confidence that you're going to do something? And if you have to have confidence to take action, if you have to have confidence to move towards something, then you are in a stalemate, because you won't have the confidence until you take action and see the results. So in this, number 1 is recognizing that definition of confidence comes through action. You got to do the work. You really don't have to have that kind of confidence to take action. You don't. And if you believe you do, it's going to keep you stuck. So if you can take action without confidence that you're actually going to achieve exactly what you're set out to do, that frees you to take the action. And here's the definition of confidence I would encourage you to consider adopting. This was not my definition. There is a gal who wrote a book, and I actually haven't even read the book, to be quite honest. But the title of the book for me was powerful enough. And it is this: my definition of confidence is that it is figure outable. So Marie Forleo is the one that wrote a book a few years ago called Everything is Figure Outable. And I love that made up word. And that is what my definition of confidence is these days. It is the belief that it is figure outable. And it's not just depending on me. It's not that it's figure outable because Sheri has all of the information, all of the knowledge, all of the abilities within me. Rather, it's figure outable because now I have people all around me. I have other business owners, entrepreneurs, marketers, coaches. I have so many people that I have connections with that know so many things and so much more than me in certain areas. And I'm willing to step out of my comfort zone and ask for help. Ask for somebody to coach me. Ask for somebody to mentor me. And as I've shifted into that space where my confidence is no longer based on what's in me, but based on who I'm connected to. And side note, faith falls into this aspect, because my confidence isn't in myself, it's in who I'm connected to. Higher power, you see how that works? So this shift in confidence, hugely helpful. So you can think about this different definition of confidence, and recognizing that confidence will come. The other kind of confidence, confidence in the outcomes that you're attempting to create, that confidence builds with action. So if you're thinking you have to have that kind of confidence to start taking action, that's delusional, because that confidence is not going to be based on anything reasonable. Okay, so that's number one. Second of all, confidence can come. So if you've been trying something over and over and over again and you're not seeing the results that you want, confidence can come or is increased when you change the environment or change the situation, change the variables of what's going on. And so again, I'm going to go back to weight loss. It's such kind of an easy example that so many people relate to, and it's very concrete. If you have the same kinds of relationships, you have the same mindset, you eat the same kind of foods, or you have the same kind of meals in your house, and you maintain the same level of activity, why would you have confidence that you're gonna lose weight? And so, like, again, delusional if you were to think that you could have confidence that you're gonna lose weight. So the more changes you stack on top of each other, the more confidence you can have. Now, I'm not suggesting absolutely 100% 180 change everything in your life. Sometimes people can manage that, but sometimes, that just is overwhelming, and then that increases the likelihood of you not sticking with it. So there's a sweet spot of changing more variables, but not too many. And that's something that you are going to have to figure out. I can't tell you that unless we were to have a conversation. So again, in the weight loss example, maybe you switch up the types of activities that you're doing. And maybe you switch up the types of grocery shopping that you're doing. Or maybe this is what I've shifted to doing, is I order my groceries. Because if I go to the grocery store, not only is it taking more time and energy and all that sort of stuff, but it's easier to impulse buy. And so by hiring out my grocery shopping, that is a variable that I've been able to change to decrease the amount of random junk stuff that I end up throwing in my cart, or my kids will throw in the cart. So that's a variable that I've changed. And so there's so many, and relationships. Think about the relationships in your life that are supporting healthy habits or that are getting in the way of healthy habits. How can you change those in a way to increase the positive variables for accomplishing weight loss or accomplishing whatever goal it is that you're set out to do? So that is number 2. Confidence comes when you increase the number of variables that you're changing from when you've attempted this in the past. You know, insanity, that definition, doing the same thing, expecting the same results. So you've got to switch things up. That's just kind of part of the game. And number 3 is confidence comes when you celebrate the little wins. This is something that I've gotten really good at. Not because it was my own thing that I've kind of figured out. I actually was given this idea and strategy from another couple coaches that I spend a lot of time with and in business. And they always start out their coaching sessions, or usually do, with what are some wins. And we've adopted that into our business. When anytime we even have a business meeting, which is, you know, like 3 to 4 times a week, we have different meetings that we're talking about different things. We'll start out our meeting with, hey, let's share some wins. And maybe some of those wins are personal wins, and maybe some of those are business wins. But either way, it orients my brain, instead of always thinking about everything that's not going right, or that is not done yet, or is not completed, or my goals. It allows me to stop and recognize the little things along the way that are indicators of success and indicators that we're on the right path. So I love the idea of being able to really be intentional and celebrating the little wins along the way. In fact, last night, my husband and I were laying in bed, kind of deep talking a little bit about how our day went. And I was sharing with him this phone call I had, or actually it wasn't a phone call, it was a Zoom call conversation with another coach who's looking for support. And as I was reflecting on that, I actually recognized the win that I had in that meeting that I had with this other coach. Now, I have a coaching community of other coaches that I run with a couple other coaches. And so this was a call specifically, like a sales call specifically for that community. And I haven't done a whole lot of these types of sales calls. This is, I don't know, maybe the 15th, 20th one I've done. Not a lot in the scope of mastery and this sort of thing. But when I was reflecting to my husband, I was like, I actually, as I was talking with her and as she was kind of processing where she was at in her business and what she needed, and a lot of this confidence stuff were things that she expressed, which is kind of why it's fresh in my brain from that call and then from last week, as I said. And I recognized in that moment that I was kind of debriefing this with my husband, that I had more confidence, more assurity in my call with her. When she would say something, I kind of knew, I'm like, oh, okay, so I need to ask this to bring out this thing that she had done. And like my ability to orchestrate internally how that call went and how I needed to respond to her in the way that was going to best support her was so much stronger than any other type of call like this I've ever had. Now, she didn't say yes yet to being part of the community, so I don't know how it's going to turn out. But if I only based my confidence on the end result, yesterday's call would have had no impact in my confidence. But because I'm so attuned in my mind and I've conditioned myself to recognize these little wins, even though that one was an internal win, no one else could see that change. No one else would ever know. But internally, I recognized, oh my gosh, there was a shift. Like I noticed my getting better. My competency is increasing. Therefore, my confidence in that situation is increasing as well. So recognizing the little wins, super important. So let me recap the 3 things. 1 is confidence comes through action. So don't expect to have confidence before you take action on something. And if you do, you're probably living in la la land, because where are you basing that confidence if you haven't actually done the thing? So act first and the confidence will come gradually. Second of all, confidence can be increased when you change the environment. So if it's something you've tried to do it in the past and it hasn't quite worked out the same way that you wanted, ensure that you are changing as many variables in your environment and internally as possible, because that is going to increase your confidence and increase the likelihood of you having success in the thing that you're trying to accomplish. And thirdly, confidence can be increased and stoked when you pay attention to the little wins along the way. And sometimes those wins are internal and nobody else knows, but you can celebrate them and you can still share them with people who will celebrate them with you, even though they don't necessarily see them. They can trust that that they're happening because you're seeing and feeling them. So confidence is a sticky thing, and I think we put more stock in having confidence than probably is what's helpful. But here we are. So I hope these three things were helpful for you today when you think about your own level of confidence in your life and how that's impacting what you're doing and how far you're willing to go. So thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.